What if Alex Hormozi ran your Google ads? Would he look at offers, keywords, audiences? In this video, I'll be breaking down step by step what he would do based on $100 million offers to improve your business. Okay, so if Alex Hormozi was running your ads, we'd first have to identify if you're e-commerce or lead generation. Essentially, talk about the different funnel overviews and what would work for your business depending on what it needs. Then also the follow-up sequences of each offer, and then all of the offer styles for both of these types of businesses. And then I'll go over fixing a live offer for a woman's glasses brand so that we can essentially pick the right keywords, audiences, and prompt GPT of Hormozi to improve your offer so that you can test. So hopping in here, there's really only these types of offer styles when you think of it, whether your audience is problem aware, solution aware, and depending on their persona. So there's essentially risk reversal offers. So this is usually like guarantees and stuff like this. And this is when hesitation is high and it's a higher price point and the brand is unknown. There's outcome stacking so that you can essentially increase the perceived value of your offer, whether it's lead generation or e-commerce. So you can essentially raise the price without a lot of drop off or resistance. There's speed offers, so people that want a solution very quickly and they're willing to pay a premium. So this can be for holidays or deadlines, depending if it's e-commerce or lead generation. Scarcity as well, so you can increase urgency. Premium brands can do this as well as natural urgency with you not having enough products, or if it's essentially a cohort of leads that you can take at a certain time. And then experiential experience or membership, so you can bring building brand loyalty. And then also people care about mission driven too. Not a lot of people think about this, but essentially when people are like giving back to a charity or something, or they're serving a specific community, this is about brand impact. So there's different offer styles. So you can think of it. So you can think super high level of the different types of offers you can do and how Hormozi would think about it if he was running your ads, with first fixing the offer and then the actual ads themselves. So you can see here visually the different essentially funnel types: quiz funnel, UGC pre-lander, product drop funnels, bundle offers, gift finder funnels, founder letter funnels, free gift funnels, back in stock funnels, and bestseller highlight funnels. And I'll dive into these deeper. And then also you're gonna have follow-up sequences for SMS or email, depends what people opt into. Both are better, obviously, because so you can hit them at different touch points. So the first, for an e-commerce business, this is common for supplement brands or makeup and beauty brands. And this really does a high perceived custom feel for people when you basically quiz and match their skin type or whatever issues they are having to your product or bundle and giving them a discount. So this would be like an image example of a quiz funnel for a clothing brand. So essentially you can collect their information, something like this. You can just ask them different questions, and this can be prompted with ChatGPT based on your business and what quiz, or if you have questions to actually qualify these people and send them to different parts of your funnel. This is really good. So this would be the first one that if Hormozi was looking at your business, he could possibly opt you to do a quiz funnel that could be good at generating leads and then having follow-up sequences once you give these people on e-commerce a specific bundle or discount. And then once people opt into that, you can essentially help them find their match if they don't purchase and put them into a follow-up sequence, and then have different emails, different drip cadences, because he's really big on follow-up and collecting information so that you can stay in contact with these people, have social proof in your headlines, whatever it is, and then add urgency and stuff like that. So you can bring them back to the purchase funnel. So that's one way Hormozi could fix your Google ads with the offer here. And then next is like UGC and pre-lander funnels. So these are really good for types of products that need social proof or warming up. So you can see if you send people to like a UGC page that's showing the influencer and a direct call to action to buy, these work really well for products that are like no-brainers, that don't need a lot of explanation or customizing. This can also work in your favor in like clothing brands as well. And then similar to that, when they visit or opt in that page, you can follow up with them with the reviews, more authenticity, UGC, that sort of stuff, the product in action, daily use, stuff like that. So that could be an offer that Hormozi could recommend for you to actually run for your business to test to improve your Google Ads, YouTube ads, lead traffic. And then there's product drops. When you're dropping new products, you can add like scarcity and urgency of countdowns for people to either opt in to get early access, give them informational, increase the urgency with a countdown so they have to opt in. So this creates urgency and scarcity into your funnel for e-commerce products. And this can be for clothing drops or new updated products that sell out. You can have a similar follow-up sequence when it drops, and then follow up with them within 1 hour, drop day, stuff like that. A lot of like streetwear brands will do this, or products with that are always selling out, like I mentioned. Okay, next is like a gift finder funnel. So this is essentially more for like seasonality and gifting, because sometimes people just have a lot of trouble just like finding what to buy their loved ones. So you have a landing page for gifting and gifting ideas with like Google Ads, audiences that are layered, or keywords of like best husband gifts or best gifts for my dad on Father's Day, stuff like that, or Mother's Day. And you have a specific landing page for that. That could be a one way to optimize your funnel seasonality. If you're not already doing that, to make the customer's user experience easier, which is a funnel type you could recommend as well. And then you can have the follow up sequences like this. Claim the free gift to add a bonus to people actually doing this as well. So you can test different angles there in your follow-up sequences. Next type of funnel is like a bundle builder. So this is really good for increasing average order values. And this can be done for your branded traffic on Google. When people search your brand name and they're returning customers, you can try to get them on a bundle builder page that can increase that average order value. And this can be working with different funnels of like quiz funnel to build an actual bundle to increase the average order value so it feels custom to them as well. So this is another increasing average order value can improve your Google Ads ROAS as well. We can also help scale your business. So you can have less customers buying more, or you can get more customers, like something Hormozi would say. And then you can have your follow-up sequences as well for the bundle discount. And then you hit them with social proof suggestions, any new bundles, and then urgency to basically claim that bundle saving. Next is founder letter. This works really good for a lot of different business models, especially if it's a disruptive product. The way it's produced is the unique mechanism, meaning if it helps the environment, if it's for a specific type of person, and you'd actually have your founder making these videos so that you can essentially talk about your unique angle of the business. You give to a charity, you help X, Y, and Z. And these do really good for UGC ads, as well as having a landing page that talks about this. People can opt into like some type of letter and get discounts to an email drip campaign. So this is going to be a different angle. A lot of businesses don't touch on too much. And you can always find some type of story of why the business was started and really add value to the marketplace doing something like this. And essentially, you can have like a message from the founder, brand origin, story, vision, and then you can basically ask for the sale, why a product is unique, product highlights, value proposition, and then ready to try yourself, and then they go to a product page to purchase. So this is another angle you could test. Hormozi would say is a good funnel as well for e-commerce. And then there's the free gift funnel. So this can be good if you want to generate leads or get that first tripwire offer or first low ticket conversion. And this can be for stuff that you have high margin and high stock that are high perceived value. So you can opt them into your newsletter drip campaign. And this is another good angle to get that customer information, especially for e-commerce to kind of continue to scale up. And you can see a follow-up sequence of claiming the free gift, when the gift is on the way, and you can upsell, give an exclusive offer, upgrades, that sort of thing. And this can really increase your back-end retention, email and SMS revenue, which is very important because too many people are focused on the front end with the Google Ads acquisition traffic, but it's very important like your overall customer acquisition cost is it can be low, but if your value per customer is very high because of these follow-up sequences, you can pay to acquire customers on Google, even if the CPCs are high or cost per clicks, regardless. Okay, then there's comparison funnels. So this works good if you have a lot of direct competitors and you have unique mechanisms of your actual product that are much better. This is very common in SaaS, but it can be done with products where you have direct competitors, where you can show your unique benefits versus what they're missing. And you can put their logo or you can just put the others. And this is a really good landing page for when you're targeting keywords, doing custom intent audiences and PMAX, where you target websites that look similar to theirs. This works good, really good as a funnel to test. especially if your product is superior or if you have some type of other unique selling proposition. And then you can basically give them information of like why people are switching over, all these types of things, and how you're better essentially. Next is like a back in stock funnel. So this is really good for women's boutiques, I find, because they go out of stock depending on what product it is. If there's a wait list from you building your list before, so you have a back in stock funnel where you can drive people from your Google Ads traffic that are searching your brand, remarketing with YouTube as well. So you can drive people to a back in stock funnel as well. And this could be really good for managing your list and just asking your past customers to buy more, which Hormozi speaks about. Just it's easier to get the same people to buy more than you trying to acquire new customers. So remarketing and brand search are really good for these types of funnels. And essentially they subscribe to the wait list, they maintain the interest, and you SMS hit them with the items back in stock, the wait is over, low inventory, that sort of stuff. Next is your best sellers. So you really want to drive bestsellers and push to showcase, especially new customers that don't know what is usually better, or if they're kind of in like the top or middle of the funnel, they're not exactly sure what they want. This can work really good for showcasing items that most people usually buy. And you can essentially follow up why people like certain products, talking about why it's the best sellers, reviews, testimonials, that sort of stuff for like people that abandon cart, that sort of thing. Next is like a review based funnel. So this can be really good to invoke more trust. And you can A B test this landing page in the Google Ads experiments to kind of really push more reviews, similar to the UGC funnel. Because if people have a higher perceived value, like Hormozi would say, this could work really good for getting people to actually buy and punch through on the sale. And you can just like really push those reviews more and see why we have high ratings, that sort of stuff, so people can go back to the product page and purchase. Okay, now into the lead generation side. So obviously lead generation is different, where you need typically more explanation for higher ticket purchases, where there's video sales letters, lead magnets to get people to opt into valuable information. Quiz funnels also work good here, obviously. Price calculations, case studies of other clients that were helped. Getting instant quotes is good for local services, free audit funnels, webinars, and then mini offer funnel. And then obviously the follow-up sequences. So VSL and like application funnels are very common. And when people are essentially selling something high ticket, they will often send people to some type of headline that is talking about the desired benefit that people want, quantifying it with a time frame, and then having a video sales letter that is basically talking about their offer, their unique mechanism, social proof, and a call to action and bullets like that. So this is a really good way that if you're driving keyword or YouTube ads traffic to like some type of info product, high ticket lead generation, clearly outline the benefits of your offer. If you're not already doing this, or if you don't have a video on your landing page, which is common, you should make that video sales letter and then make them go through an application. And essentially they have to opt in to even watch the video. So once they opt in and watch, you can essentially follow up with them, next steps, video recap, booking a call. And you want to talk about the benefits of them actually getting on the call. Call to booking rate is higher and the show rate on the calls is higher, and then you can convert them. Next is the lead magnet. This is very common as well. People often do ebooks, free gifts, guides, that sort of thing. You want to make it really, really valuable. Obviously, because Hormozi would say, regardless if you're sending the Google keywords traffic, if it's top, middle, or bottom of the funnel, which I'll talk about later, if it's YouTube or demand gen or image ads, you want to have very valuable traffic to improve your offer regardless of the traffic source. So this gives them an immediate value, to get instant access, and it's so valuable that they want to talk to you more in your funnel. So you can essentially opt into them, the free guide, ask them if the guide helped, the takeaways and value, case studies, and then you go to a free consultation booking. This is really good as well, instead of just going straight to the free consultation. If you're liking the video so far, I'd like to tell you about my Google Ads Done For You service, where me and my team personally look at your Google Ads account to see the opportunities to scale, what to cut back on, and improve your results. If you'd like to reach out for a free one-on-one consultation, book that below. Okay, and this is like the quiz funnel variant of the VSL. So instead of them just opting in, you ask them for different questions of the segments. So you can send them to different videos depending on their answers if you want to get really fancy. But essentially this helps you bucket them in your CRM. So when you're sending traffic, you can see if it's qualified from Google or not based on the keyword, the campaign type, anything like that, or the traffic source, so that you can kind of personalize the VSL, get their booking, and have a call to action. And once they opt in, you can see the results, the personalized solution, and then like other case studies of others similar to them. And if they still have questions, they can schedule a call. And now for price calculator funnels, really good when people want like more speed and accurate quotes. So you can essentially do this for local lead generation. SaaS companies do it as well, where they fill out certain information and you can get them a template. So basic project details for instant pricing, and then you immediately get an instant price, and then they can further discuss the quote with experts. This is a really good funnel that people use instead of just having them opt into a sales call immediately. Some people just don't like sales calls. They want to get some type of range. And then once they get the estimate, they get a more personalized quote. The price surprised you. Let's talk through it. Why clients love our service. And you can basically nurture the Google Ads leads that way. So you're not just like having them opt in or leave. And then a case study funnel. So this is similar to building credibility like the UGC funnels or the review funnels, but this is good for people that are more middle of the funnel that are comparing solutions. You don't really want to go for people that aren't too aware of the problem. Case studies, success stories, all that sort of stuff. So you can see how you can drive results for them as well. And then you can kind of drip them different case studies, FAQs, ask them to schedule a call and the benefits of that call. And then like the instant quote funnel as well. This is done for like insurance industry. So they can instantly get the quote for urgencies and quick follow-up, and then a similar like drip campaign after that. And then similar to e-commerce, you can do a comparison. This works really good for like SaaS companies or any other sophisticated industries where there's a lot of competitors bidding on each other's names. And then a similar follow-up to what I mentioned earlier with e-commerce. And then the free audit funnel. So this is really big that people want to opt into getting a free audit. So you can qualify them on the audit portions. If they have to have a certain revenue, you check out their website, make sure it's not spam. And then you essentially send them when their audit request is confirmed, the audit's on the way. You can send them a Loom video or PDF. And then essentially if they haven't opened it or if they're not trying to book a call, you can follow up with them that way as well. And then for a webinar funnel, so this would essentially be building a lot of hype to a certain either pre-recorded webinar or live webinar where you're going to be answering their questions, where essentially that information isn't anywhere else. So this can be more interactive if it's live, or people can watch the whole video if they have like an hour to sit down and watch. This is really good for like more complicated services, and it's content and value, and you can bring on different people and do a monthly thing to get people to opt in. This is good for like longer sales cycles, not like an immediate like emergency plumber or something. This is more for like software companies, or if you're doing like marketing services, this can work really good to do webinars. And I don't see a lot of people doing this. So this can work really good for certain industries for sure. And you can essentially, you're registered, the date, details, following up on the webinar day like it's an event, and then post webinar deals, all that sort of stuff. And then like the tripwire, and this can be where you basically get them into a lead magnet like an ebook, webinar, whatever, and then you send them some type of smaller priced service or product where it's like $7 to $97 just to get them to a paying customer. Then you upsell them to their core offer. So this is like Russell Brunson, Alex Hormozi 101 with like having tiered offers once people opt into a free lead magnet. So they may not even want to get on a sales call, but they're willing to pay for more information. And once they start paying you, they can ascend that value ladder. You can essentially follow up with them, bonuses, urgency, that sort of stuff. Okay, now on to the more Google Ads specific for traffic driving to your actual pages. And if Hormozi was looking at your essential Google Ads account, he'd want to see what these keywords are, the audience intent, and essentially what funnel or offer they should be going to based on that intent. So like I mentioned a few times in the video, there's keywords to be top of the funnel keywords, which are essentially, for example, for a woman's blue light blocking brand. You would see people that are top of the funnel that kind of know that they have an issue, but they're kind of out of curiosity or frustration. So you can't be like super aggressive, like booking a call or buy now and something. It's usually education and low friction value. So like people looking up eye strain prevention, screen fatigue, computer headaches, that sort of thing. And so you want to make sure that you're sending them to the right funnel, whether it's a lead magnet, a quiz funnel, something like this. You don't want to just send them to a product page or a bundle or bestsellers, because this funnel is not going to work based on the traffic temperature, Hormozi would say. So you really want to, it's more broad and how-to language. And if you don't match it correctly, then you're not really going to convert them. So within Google Ads, some recommendations would be like in-market audiences for eyewear, health, fitness accessories, office professionals, affinities like this, and you can do like custom intent searches as well. Okay, next, he'd want to categorize where people are in the middle of the funnel. So these people are for Google keywords, are already know their solution is here essentially. They know what the problem is, and they're looking for ways to solve it. You can shift offer to like proof and authority, whether you have more review funnels, UGC funnels that talk about the solution, and your keywords can be more specific, comparing services like I mentioned, a few different offers. So like the best fashion, blue light blockers, that sort of thing. And you can make custom segments of buy blue light blocking glasses, best blue light blocking, retargeting people that visit pages, and do more detailed demographics as well. So these can all show how you're actually better, and your ad copy and landing page should emphasize like the value stack and differentiation directly from Alex Hormozi's framework. So you're moving from more from curiosity to conviction. And then next, for bottom of the funnel, so these are people that are essentially ready to buy. So buy, best, comparison, online, prescription, affordable. So you want to be retargeting the 14 to 30 day add to cart website visitors, lookalike purchasers, detailed demographics, higher income. And at stage, they already know what they want. They're searching for purchase intent. And this is where you can go straight for the conversion. So you can essentially focus on risk reversal, urgency. And Hormozi uses these levers for like guarantees, done for use type stuff. If it's like lead generation, in this case, would be more like risk reversal or 30-day money back, anything like that. So buy, higher, service, price are all things that you want in your ad so that they're aligned and there's like not fluff. It's just like a promise and proof, kind of like a Google Ads dashboard. So you can kind of see some of these things live. So if we go into like Google Keyword Planner, and Hormozi wanted to kind of see where they would fit in your funnel, he could take these keywords and kind of see what would be the cost per click and budget for some of these. Because you can see the competition is very low on top of the funnel terms because the purchase intent isn't that great. But if you have a good landing page, you can actually convert these people into your funnel at a very low cost per click and get them into your follow-up sequences, that sort of stuff. These are more informational keywords. A lot of people are scared to target because they're just sending people to a product page because their funnel is essentially broken. So stuff like that. Then if we look at these keywords that are more commercial intent, you can compare them and see how much higher the cost per clicks are. I went from 15 cents all the way to like $3.50 up to $5 for some of these. So you can see how much more expensive they're getting the further up the funnel you're getting, and the way Hormozi would have to look at your offer to see how are you acquiring customers and following up on the back end in order to fix your e-commerce funnel, for example. And then if we come to these keywords, they're probably going to be even more expensive because the amount of competitors that you'd be seeing. So you can see some of these are also very high competition. The CPCs fluctuate as well. And you can see the different personas that you can target, but this is what you'd have to take into account when trying to fix your ads and your offer. Because if you can only get so many clicks and the cost per click is too high, the conversion rate isn't there, you're going to have to fix the funnels, offers, and landing pages there. And then I also mentioned things like in-market affinity and custom intent audiences. First, I'll talk about custom intent audiences. So essentially, you can create these audiences by going into the audiences tool here, clicking custom segments and clicking here. And say we wanted to target people that were like blue light glasses, custom keywords. And this is like for your middle of the funnel audience or something like this. You can essentially target people that have searched these types of interests on Google, and then people that actually don't have searched these terms. This is going to be better because they've actually searched on Google versus this is like a more of intent signal. You can essentially save that audience here. Once it's all reviewed and you're essentially going to build a campaign, you can go to audiences, edit audience, say, for example, this one. And you can go into here, browse, and you can see all the different types of audiences you can have. Like pre-built audiences, like I mentioned here, like different in-market for eyewear, and then also people affinity. So in-market is more the last 7 days. They have been searching eyewear solutions. So you can see last 14 days, they have been searching that. Or if they have an affinity, they're always searching different types of beauty and apparel. You can also layer that on. So I wouldn't say at this point in the funnel for like a search campaign, you would do targeting, because essentially targeting is like you're limiting the people that can see your ads because they have to search that keyword and also be in market for eyewear the last 7 to 14 days. You'd want to do an observation audience for some of these, unless you're doing like YouTube ads or demand gen, then that's different. So if we look at, see a search type of campaign. So if we were going to see, we can actually even see a PMAX campaign, because it doesn't really matter if it's like search or PMAX. It's really just about you creating that custom audience for the middle of the funnel, bottom, and top of the funnel traffic. So you can essentially click new segment and create your segment here and do the custom once it populates. Or you can do custom interest. It hasn't populated yet, but you can also create it here where you do the search terms. You can put competitor terms in here. And these are all things that you can kind of push depending on your keyword targeting and where people are at in the funnel to essentially target them. And you just want to label if the audience is like top of the funnel, glasses, and you essentially create that custom affinity based on the persona. And then you'd also put like the offer name. It could be like offer one. So this would be a good way to hyper laser target your offer to the keyword, so that not that it's always perfect, but at least you know what you're experimenting and testing when doing your offer frameworks. And this would be very important for like Hormozi's strategy to essentially get you better results. So you can also do detailed demographics, as well. So for example, if we're in here in a PMAX campaign, you can either edit an audience or create a new one. You can go to detailed demographics for their gender, income, parental status, all that stuff. Really depends on your persona, where you're pushing them in the funnel, but that's also very important. And then the remarketing audiences, you can essentially go to your data segments and look at all visitors of a site, or people that have converted in the past, people that have added a cart, viewed a certain product, all that sort of stuff, to essentially hit the different parts of the funnel. So Hormozi's strategy would work with Google Ads as well. And now for a simple way to like fix frameworks or offers is you can essentially prompt ChatGPT based off of your product page or landing page. So for example, we have this blue light blocking brand, and we want to see how we can improve the offer based on Hormozi's framework. So say we are here, we have this, and say, give me some offer frameworks based on Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. Keep into the context these frameworks attached and why. So then essentially we have our offer frameworks here for funnel styles. And essentially you'd want to download this, comment below if you'd like this document, so you can essentially download it, but essentially you drag it in here and then you'd say, bring in one of your competitors and give it more context. Okay, we have, there's so many, let's just say these guys. And then we can essentially say, remove this click ID. I don't recommend clicking on people's ads like that. Make it better than this competitor and why. Also give follow-up sequences. If you like this video and you'd like me to analyze your Google Ads account like Alex Hormozi, book a free one-on-one consultation below.